I put this guy up on Facebook and thought to myself, this will be awesome. I can do a sort of challenge to my musician friends. And my hope was that I would get some really cool responses on other instruments. Didn't even have to be dueling banjos. But they let me down. I got no such response. So maybe I'll get some cooler people on YouTube that can put some responses linked in the comments. And maybe we can vine together a super cheesy set of musical playoffs of each other.
Down on my luck, I feel like a fool. Can't shoot straight when I go shoot pool. Electronics all around deciding to fail. Hit my thumb while pounding a nail.
What was that?
We're here at Austin, Minnesota, just behind the wonderful Spam Museum. It is the only place in the world where you can buy all 16 flavors of Spam under one roof.
And we were driving by and noticed something that we had to share with you. And if it wasn't enough, that there is this wonderful sizzle place on wheels where you can try that Spam that Kurt was just telling you about.
Sizzle, pork, and
But there's something more. These nuts are from Planters. Now, I've heard of the Oscar Mayer mobile. Never heard of the Nutmobile. The wonderful things you find in Minnesota.
check out these nuts.
So we just found out that Spam bought Planters. Pretty cool little deal, and they're gonna take it cross country. I can look at that custom embroidery of Mr. Peanut. Now that's, boy, I need to look at doing that on the new motorcycle seat we just acquired.
We're getting nuts embroidered on it.
Hey, come here. Look at what
Yeah.
there's. There's the front of this beast. That there, Clark's what you call an RV.
Hey, I wonder if I could bust this nut. You might want to edit that out.
Looks like it's fiberglass you set over a steel cage under there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. What sucks about film is you never quite see just how beautiful it is out here at night. It's one of the main draws, actually. I don't know if I'll be able to focus in on the moon. If I brought out the telescope, it would. It's pretty incredible. A nice little surprise tonight. Amanda was supposed to go into work, but she got an unrequested excused absence because they've got plenty of staff at the hospital. So we turned on a movie on Hulu called Intersect. It is a sci-fi movie. Was going to look for a comedy. I think one that my friends Jim and Andrea talk about, We Are the Millers or Meet the Millers. I looked at it and I think we've seen it. Amanda, do you remember that? That's the one where they've got the RV and he loses some what do we call it? Electric lettuce. And he's going to go in an RV down lower below the border and pick up just a little bit of weed. And yeah. So we're gonna not watch that. I could use a comedy, but that said, I've been really digging Snowpiercer, which really is a really good sci-fi show. think I said it was on TNT. It might be TBS. I don't remember. But what I'm finding is the first season was really excellent. And as we get into the second season, it's kind of like Handmaid's Tale. So Margaret Atwood was one of my favorite authors when I was a kid. And I read Handmaid's Tale in high school. And I think the book ends right where season 1 ends. And when season 2 lit up, it makes me pissed. And so Snowpiercer is getting kind of like that as we get further into season 2. And I'll tell you what, the actor that plays the villain is fantastic. He's the same guy that played the villain in National Treasure, because I cannot stand the dude. So it's a good show. I just, there's enough of this crap in the world that sometimes it's really hard to sit and watch it on TV. So I have a tendency to like comedies way better than that. Science fiction and futurist type things are right up my alley as well. My bride is fantastic because she's going to put up with it, I know, even though that's not her thing. But in fairness, I just watched a sappy teeny bopper movie with Amanda and Nissa. Was cute in fairness. Love story between two teenagers. What was it called? Flipped. The way it was put together was pretty interesting. It was from the perspective of one of the kids, and then they would go back and do it from the perspective of the other kid. So interesting. Not quite as confusing as the first time I saw Pulp Fiction, because that thing flies all over the place as far as timeline. Anyway, we'll watch Intersect, which I've never heard of, and see what we think. It was a close call. I almost did John Wick, because I've never seen John Wick 1 or 2, and I saw that's up there now too. Okay, so this time I'm going to reach for something different that I picked up in Albert Lee, and I could not resist the container. The Stillhouse America's Finest Black Bourbon. Masterful blend of corn and rye and barley. So it's a blend, 40% alcohol. Produced and bottled by Stillhouse Spirits in Columbia, Tennessee. I have never seen this. And I don't think I've seen it here in Rochester, just in Albert Lee. We'll give her a try. All right, we'll give it a little bit of a swirl. Looks a little darker, actually, than the Filibuster Rye. Give her a little bit of nose. I'm getting a little bit of floral. Some vanilla. Maybe some caramel. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else. Definitely vanilla. Let's see what it does on the palate. Ooh. Not much at first. Then the oak comes through. And a little bit of burn. It's very thin. A lot of oak. And like I said, it feels thin compared to the Filibuster. It's not terrible, but it's nothing. I wouldn't say this is anything to write home about either. Let's see if ice will help. A little bit of water. Got the ice in there. You know, it's not bad. It's just hard. I gotta tell you, I must really like the filibuster because this isn't bad. A lot less harsh than that Devil's Cut was. Okay, definitely a little bit better with some water, believe it or not. It's unlocking some of the floral. And the oak is not as overbearing. And I should be fair, the oak wasn't terrible. It's the most present flavor when it's neat. With the ice, it is better. So I'd give this on a scale of 10 somewhere around a 6. But that's just my personal palate. It killed pretty much everything in the nose. Maybe a hint of sweetness still, but there's not much left with the nose with the cube in it. So we gave up on the science fiction movie about, how long into it, Amanda? 10 minutes? About 10 minutes into it, she nods. Yeah, about 10 minutes. And so we switched over to a Jack Black movie. I still needed the comedy, I guess. So Nissa saw The House with the Clock in Its Walls and really liked it. And we've been watching it for about 11 minutes. And so far, I'm glad we made the switch. It's really good. Hello, gang. It's been kind of a slow week this week. Right around midweek, I was working at my desk, and the way things are now, I don't know about the rest of you that are working remote, but I oftentimes do an 8 or a 9 hour day without moving because I'm back to back meetings. That's not the extent of the day, but that's how long I often go. And so as a result, some of my previous knee injuries have been kind of acting up. And this week, I was just sitting at my desk and kind of went to go grab my cup of coffee and my back popped. And I've had a lot of pain. I'm better now. I'm up and moving. I can still tell that something happened. And what I learned from the experience is I thought that heat would be the way to go. But in reality, I didn't feel any better until I put an ice pack on it. And, a day or two later after that, it's starting to feel like its normal self. Doing some research, looks like I may have bulged a disc, which is kind of a normal thing, I guess, for an older guy like me. Anyway, I'm hoping that doesn't happen very often, and it slowed me down quite a bit this week. So there may not be as much content, but I've got a lot to do today. Originally, I was going to go on an autism ride with a good friend of mine who recently retired. I was looking forward to seeing him, but I wasn't feeling like riding up to the Twin Cities, doing a ride up there, and then riding back. I'm not in that shape yet. So instead, I've got my good friend coming over to look at the arcade machines with me. We're going to put those up for sale. I thought maybe I would have them sold without having to do some maintenance, but through interactions, I'm beginning to realize that he's not very committing to the whole sale, and even with the deal. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix them. I might actually decide to keep the multicade and put it into the clubhouse, but one of them for sure is definitely going up for sale. Additionally, I bought a purchase on Marketplace. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. We'll see what other kind of shenanigans we can get into today. More to come. For us to do that work on the arcade machines, I have to find the keys to the cabinets. Now, I know where the one is for Gauntlet, so I'm going to go get that one first. Then we're going to go through the mystery myriad of keys that I have stored on the key hook, and hopefully one of them will open the multicade. While I'm downstairs, I'm looking at this and thinking, man, I got to get back to my music stuff. Tomorrow I've got a practice for a gig. Oh, if you want any old Xbox stuff, comment and let me know. But I gotta get back to a gig with the band, and I have been a super slacker, so time to get back to the old grind. It's actually not true. I've not been a slacker, and I bet the band would tell you that too, but when it comes to the music, it's not been my focus, and I kind of feel a little bit bad about that. Are you the key master? So I'm looking at this, and I am seeing 3 keys. So I'm pretty stoked, because that means I might have been smart and put all of the arcade machine keys together. Let's go find out. Okay, so these are the machines of the hour. First, a gauntlet machine, and marquee is predominantly in place on this side. It's in more shape on the other side. Got a little bit of peeling, that's pretty common. And yeah, then we've got this Mamma Jamma, this multicade, and I'm gonna see if I can't get them both. This one's operational except for this fire button wants to stick, and it's not so bad right now because it's been in the garage. It's been kind of hot in here, but if it's in the house and it's cool, it gets a little bit stickier. Multicade, I just have a couple of joysticks that are non-responsive, so we're going to try to get into that multicade, and I think, oh, look at that, sweet. And there's a guide down there. I don't think I've ever actually opened this one. It's in really good shape. Looks like an old VGA display. And I'm not sure what the controls are. This one might be an easy fix, and it might very well go back into my clubhouse. And there are the manuals for this machine. You would think with the manuals, this thing would go fast, and maybe it will. I haven't really put it on Marketplace, and like I said, I'm starting to get kind of partial to this. These joysticks are not terribly responsive, so I'm not sure if there is an easy fix. We're going to find out. Easy discussions. Friend of mine helped me to open up the joysticks, and taking a look, these are some low voltage switches that get hit as you move the joystick, and I am going to order some new ones, and that should get the multicade up and running. The gauntlet machine is functioning correctly, probably because of the humidity. One of the buttons is kind of grimed up maybe a little bit, but it seems like sitting out here has done it well. If anything, I will order a new button for it as well, slightly different style. And it might also be that I can get the Gauntlet 2 board that's in that machine running, which would be kind of cool. We're going to shift gears back to this bike. While I was in the Dakotas, I noticed this, and it's not a really big deal. It's bikes from 2011, but it bothers me a little bit, and if we get rain, it'll make the seats soggy. So I went on and found myself a new seat. And here it is. No rips in this guy. It's a little dusty because it's been in the back of my truck. But I was going to order it from Harley Direct, and friends of mine said, don't do that. They figured it would cost me, a few $100s, and told me to take a look at Facebook Marketplace, which I did. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that or hassle with that, but I ended up getting it for just about $100, which is a lot better than a few hundred. More updates for other bikes. Let's see if she fits. And there it is, just like a glove. $100, and I saved myself from having to spend a few hundred. So while I wasn't sure about wanting to do the whole Facebook Marketplace thing, I think it has done me a solid. There it is, shined up with a little bit of bike wash, and my understanding is this came off of a 2018 Street Glide. So a lot newer than the 2011 it went on, but it still fits, and being that it's newer, it's not as wore, and I'm guessing I'll get a lot of really great miles out of this. So thanks to my friends Jim and Andrea that talked sense into me, and we'll take her out for a spin later, and I'm planning on a iron butt type trip again in a few weeks. So I'll have to make sure that we get her nice and broken in like the other seat. Now you may ask, am I going to get rid of the other one? I probably should. But as it turns out, I like doing leather working. And so I'm not going to do that straight away. I'm going to see if maybe there's an opportunity to do some learning on custom seats. So got a wall of old seats and the like that I've kept over the years, and this one will go up there with them, at least for now, just in case I can find a use for it. And if not, we'll take it maybe to a bike show. Maybe somebody really needs it but doesn't have the money to go out and buy even a used never used seat, and we can help somebody out. Feels pretty good, actually. I'm pretty stoked about this. Sorry for the camera angles, my back's still hurting a little bit, but the backrest feels pretty good. So yeah, pretty stoked. Now I've got to go inside and see to some work with regard to the F-150. And I'm thinking that this might be a shortened week, and I explained why. I do apologize. It feels like there are more of these going on, but it is summertime, and there's a lot of competing priorities for my time. What I am discovering is that it's maybe time to start paring some things down so that maybe I can find some focus. I do love working on the bikes. There are a few other things that are super important to me as well. And I paraded yesterday with a group of friends. It's been a while since I've done that. And we've been in times of isolation for a year. And I'm being reminded so much of how important it is to be around people. This afternoon, I'm going to go down to my camper and set it up, and I'm looking forward to some good times this summer, even if it's just 1 or 2 weekends hanging out and enjoying the company of good friends. And I've already been blessed to go, on a trip. I'm going to go on a couple more with friends, and there's something in the works. I've been talking about it for a while with regard to a potential LLC or a business. It might sound funny hearing me say things about that, and that I need to find more time for myself and so forth, but I think that might be part of the key to what I'm talking about. So there's the teaser, more to come. And remember to stop and see the beautiful things that are around you every day. All right, so this week's going to be a double try because that guy it kind of tasted a bit like sneakers. And I love the filibuster. We're going to stay away from that. And actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to grab one that I've actually already tried, but I haven't filmed it yet. We're going to grab that Mamma Jamma. And it is Jack Daniel's Gold double-barreled Tennessee whiskey. I'm a big fan of just straight up Jack Daniels, or I love single barrel or Gentleman Jack. somewhere I've got a bottle of Gentleman Jack back there, actually, behind that Evil Devil's Cut, which I have a couple of. But anyway, we'll find some unwilling victims for that. But today we're going to do this. Now, I have opened it, I have tried it, and basically I think it's good. I don't know if it's much better than some of the others that I do, like regular Jack Daniels, for example. So I don't know that it's worth the premium to get the gold label. That said, we're gonna try it again after dinner and see what I think. And let's see, this one's a cork, so I'm gonna have to put the camera down. Okay, I'll do the pour. Do a little bit of the spin. I like the color. Color of the whiskey looks good, a little darker. Smells like Jack Daniels. And I'm in the basement, by the way. We're gonna go into the editing room. So it's been a week since I had the still house. Have a little bit of this while I'm editing. Apples. A little cinnamon, maybe. Some of the fruit. Let's see. So like I said, I really like just regular Jack. Coats the mouth pretty well. I would say it's drier than like the old number 7. Maybe even a little drier than some of the others. Still very good. Still very recognizably Jack Daniels. Still don't know that I would pay the extra money for the gold, but I do like it, and so do a lot of my other friends. And into the studio we go. Do a little bit of editing. And my favorite thing to go along with the bourbon while editing is some nice A&W. I won't mix them. I'll drink the bourbon first. And you can even see on the glass it's giving it a nice coating, so a lot of viscosity, thickness to this Jack Daniel's Gold. Good stuff.